So it's Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined once again by top trainer Xavier Miller. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good. Glad to see you're representing the club.
Of
Always.
course, yeah. I got to represent my amateur boxing club, man. A lot of the good things come from this club and the name. So yeah, always represent knees and IQ, always.
And presumably you guys will be kind of reopening in earnest by next week now.
Really not sure what's going on with the amateurs. I'm hearing some rumours that maybe things might start picking up September.
Okay.
Um, it's really sad for the amateurs. I mean, anything you can do. The pros obviously are going to be allowed to train.
Yeah.
Um, Look, obviously my pros train at different gyms like Don Charles Gym and so on. I mean, it's mainly the amateurs that train at my at this gym. So it's going to be difficult for everybody. There's like we need to find a place, obviously, honestly, to settle for everybody. But I'm just frustrated for the amateurs because obviously, they were all preparing for the league championships and box cups and so on. So it's hard for them. But I keep saying to them, please don't jump the gun. Don't jump into the pros because a lot of guys are just not ready for it. Just be sensible. Nothing happens before its time. So hopefully, I'll take my advice on board.
Fingers crossed. Um, you had a great week, just over a week ago now, out in Gibraltar. With Dillian Whyte, incredibly impressive performance to get revenge over Alexander Povetkin in the main event, and Youssef Khoumari, career best showing against Kane Baker earlier on the show. Let's start with that. How impressed were you with Yusuf, considering he'd been out the ring for a while, probably his best opposition to date on paper at least, and made it look easy?
Yeah, I mean, he's a quality operator. I mean, anyone who's been around the boxing circuit, obviously not to the mainstream fans, but anybody within the boxing world knows of Youssef Khoumari, knows about his talent. I mean, he's been the best, probably one of the best small ball boxers for the last 3 years. So when he got his break, I knew how he was going to look. But to be out for a year, I think he last boxed March 7th last year.
Mm.
Kane's been active. Kane's been impressive the last couple of fights. I do like the guy. I've got a lot of time for Kane. I was rooting for him when he had his fights before. Yeah, it was hard for them to be like nasty toward each other because Yusuf said, he liked watching him on TV and wanted to appreciate where it's coming from. But once it's business, it's business. And Yusuf was very, very sharp. And I'm just glad that he got his chance to shine. I mean, Dillian, he was training at my gym at Neasden for a while before we went out to Portugal. He watched Yusuf spar, and he was interested in him straight away. He said, "Listen, he's a talent." And when the opportunity came, he decided to manage him and gave Yusuf his shot. Really grateful for that. And Yusuf grabbed it with both hands and looked outstanding. I'm just excited what's going to happen next with Yusuf. I mean, he's now rated in the top 10. I think he's 9 now in the country. Yusuf's good enough to be any of those guys. So obviously, it's going to be very tough for him. It's a tough division. But Yusuf's proved already. I hope that everyone's seen, the skill set. And, Yusuf can fight going forward, fight going back, fight on the inside, outside. He's just a very, very good fighter. So, yeah, excited about him.
And you said about what happens next. Presumably, Dillian picked him out initially. He's then impressed when he's got that opportunity. Will we see him on more Dillian Whyte cards going forward, which will presumably be Sky Sports box office cards, of course?
I mean, that's what you'd hope. I mean, when you get an opportunity and you shine like that, then obviously the feeling is, right, yeah, the next fight, next show, you'll get that call. But I'd like Yusuf to also get fights in between. I mean, he's impressed guy. So I don't see why he can't be on, out again maybe a month or two on another Sky card, maybe another matchroom show. He was that impressive. I mean, obviously beforehand he was the underdog because no one knew him. They all knew Kane because they'd seen him. So to win every single round and stop him like that, and Kane Baker has never been stopped at his weight. He fights out of his weight. He's gone up as high, I think, as maybe welterweight or light welterweight. To stop him at his own weight like that is, it just shows level. So, I think, whoever, everybody involved, associated with Yusuf, obviously, was very, very impressed and excited about what he'd done. And, we're all looking forward to what's next.
Now, the main event itself, very dominant performance from Dillian Whyte, probably more dominant than the first time around in those first 4 rounds. But this time finished the job. Povetkin never really made inroads this time. What made the difference between that and the fight the first time around?
The main difference to me was that we didn't make a mistake. And Dillian was doing a job on him the first time. I actually said it in numerous interviews. To me, the fighter that received the most damage was Povetkin. He was getting hurt badly in that first fight. I mean, he'd been dropped twice, but it wasn't just the knockdowns. You know, he was getting hurt with body shots. He was getting hurt with everything in the first fight. It's just that came out that fifth round. You know, we made a mistake, and we paid for it. But we got it right this time. And Dillian had not dropped around against Povetkin, and historically, you know, Povetkin always picks up rounds against guys. You know, to me, Dillian was doing a job on him both times. So just really, really happy for Dillian, because obviously it's been a long camp. All the date changes. You know, we've had to obviously train another country, weren't really sure where the fight was going to take place. You know, all these things, you know, play a part. But Dillian's been professional. He's trained hard. You know, even when the date got shifted, you know, we stayed in the gym. We knew when to take it down, when to bring it up. And the performance was just outstanding. But I don't expect anything less from Dillian. You know, he's beaten good guys. You know, he's on the verge of a world title shot. So, yeah, I expect him to get rid of guys like Povetkin. So, yeah, I was really, really impressed with Dillian. And, you know, he's just, on the night, I just knew that he was going to be nasty. I mean, I spoke to Sky briefly before the fight, and that's what I wanted. I wanted to be nasty with Povetkin, make a statement in the first round. And he did that. And to be honest with you, he just kept the pressure on until he got him out.
His jab and particularly his use of distance and the way he maintained the optimum range was particularly impressive. What did you make of that? Is that something you worked on in camp?
That's something that I've been working on with Dillian since the day I met him. I mean, I've been working with Dillian now for a good couple of years. You know, he was, we started working I think it's just after the Rivas fight. You know, I started doing some work with Dillian. And these are the things that I've been talking to him about. You know, it's just about Dillian can do everything. It's just making the right decisions at the right time. That's all, and just being consistent. And you saw on a week and a half ago, that's what he was doing. You know, he was controlling range really well, and then when he had to be aggressive, he did that at the right distance as well. You know, it was very good performance. But like I said, to me, he was doing a lot of the right things in the first fight. But you know, this time he got rid of it. So yeah, I'm really, really pleased. And you know, he's stayed consistent in the gym. You know, we've been training out in Portugal for a year, and it's going really well. And obviously with the addition of Harold as well, Harold Knight, you know, comes with a wealth of experience. And you know, he's been really good in camp. I mean, he's just a very easy person to work with, and he's quite lively. You know, he's always smiling, you know, always joking around. But when it comes to business, you know, he's been there before and he's seen it. So you know, the best thing about Harold is he's always reinforcing what I'm saying to Dillian. And you know, when you've got a team of coaches, you know, in a camp, you know, when everyone's everyone's on the same page, it's just very, very easy. You know, he's been a second for a long time throughout Lennox's whole career. So he knew how to play that role, you know, obviously working with Manny. And you know, very experienced guy, knowledgeable guy, very respectful guy, and very positive guy. So yeah, it's been good.
With that in mind, and you know, him fitting into the team so seamlessly, can we expect him to be back as part of the squad for the next couple of fights?
Yeah, I mean, when I get involved with a boxer, I expect to be involved with them for a long, long time. You know, to me, it's almost like a project. You know, there's things I study the boxers, and then I look at the things that I want them to improve on, and we just get to work. You know, and it's also about building a team. You know, this is my gym, this is my home, and I've built everything here. You know, me and Nick are the head coaches, but we've got coaches that work under us, and we've got strength and conditioning coaches. We've got a whole team here. When I went out to Portugal, I went on my own. So, you know, I didn't have another coach to work with out there, or, you know, obviously Dillian's got his own team around him, his own strength and conditioning coach and so on. So we've all had to, you know, come together and get an understanding of how things work, and it's been unbelievable. You know, the guy, his strength conditioner, you know, Al, and, you know, recovery and physio Simon, his cut man Magic. You know, Dillian's already got a very good team. But, you know, I'm coming from a boxing coaching team, you know, that I've got at home. So I wanted to build that out there. So it was important for them to bring somebody else in. It wasn't just an ad hoc decision, you know, towards the fight. It's something that I've wanted since the time I got out there. and it had to be the right fit. And Harold, to me, has been that person. So yeah, I expect us all to go straight back into camp and get ready for the next fight. So yeah, it's been good.
Good stuff. Now, before we move on from Povetkin, it's a bit of a delicate subject, but I feel I should ask. A lot of people on social media, particularly after the fight, started talking about Povetkin's struggle back in January or whenever it was, or before Christmas maybe, with COVID, and what impact that might have had on his performance. What do you make of that?
It's laughable, honestly, because of the delay with the fight. You know, he had even longer to recover. I mean, we've been ready to go. Every date they've given us, we've been ready to go. Nobody was saying these things when he was doing like the open workout or saw him training. No one said any of these things. He looked good. They were even saying when he was doing the open workout that, you know, he looked very, very sharp. You know, so again, no matter what you do in boxing, somebody always has something negative to say. So you just got to just focus on what you need, what you want to do. It's your career. You know, you can't focus on what people say outside. You know, so they can say whatever they like. You know, Dillian's got his belt back and he's in a very good position, and we look to move forward. You know, not looking back.
And talking about that, he's got the WBC interim title back in his possession. But everyone, all the heavyweights at the moment, seem to be waiting around to see what happens between Tyson Fury and AJ, whether they get that deal together for 2 fights. What does Dillian do in the meantime to kind of keep himself sharp but not risk losing his position? It seems to be a tricky position, albeit a favourable one to be in.
I think he'll do exactly what he's been doing for the last few years, and just keep fighting good competition and getting more and more experience. I mean, he's ready to go right now. I mean, I think he was ready for a world title shot a good couple of, a good year and a half ago. You know, he's been ready. So, but we'll just keep, you know, I'm not sure who will be fighting next. Like I said, I'm his coach. You know, he'll call me and tell me, you know, what's going on. I've always just played my role. I don't really have too many of those kind of conversations. And I don't mind who it is. I'll just get ready. But yeah, I don't mind, honestly. I'm just excited about whoever it is, whether it's Wilder, Bryant. It doesn't make a difference to me. As long as the ultimate goal is to get that world title shot. And if we've got to keep ticking over, and I can't even call them because it's not even ticking over. These are world-class fights you're talking about. We just keep fighting until, you know, we get our chance. Dillian's not the kind of person to sit around and wait. We know that, you know, and he wants to be active. He's in the prime of his career. If you sit around and wait out a year, 2 years, you know, you're wasting your prime. He needs to be busy. He needs to fight. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to the next challenge.
Do you feel that after the performance against Povetkin, avenging that defeat, he should be number 1 leading contender in the queue for the AJ Fury winner?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, he's done everything asked of him. Everything. And he's one of the rare fighters that actually keeps getting in with dangerous competition. I've said this numerous times. For a fighter that has not had a world title shot yet, he must have the best CV in boxing, best resume in boxing. He has to. I'm talking about a fighter who hasn't boxed for a world title yet. Who's got a better resume than Dillian Whyte? So no one's done more than he has to deserve a shot. To me, it should be next. But obviously, I know how big Tyson Fury and Joshua fight is. I understand it. I know there's going to be a rematch clause. I know there's going to be a 2-fight deal. So, you know, listen, it's not the first time it's happened in boxing. It does happen. You have to wait your turn. It's frustrating, but it is what it is.
Now, out of those two, as Dillian Whyte's trainer, is there one of Fury and Joshua you feel Dillian's style matches up better with?
He beats both of them. I like both those fights. I like both of them. Like I said, I think they're very good at one thing in particular, both of them. But to me, Dillian is more versatile. He can do more. And he's a serious threat. He's a serious threat to both of them, and they know it. That's probably why they're trying to get this fight, you know, secured out of the way. And then I don't know what they're going to do with their futures after that. Who knows? Who knows how much longer they're even going to be in boxing once they've had those 2 fights? Who can say? I don't know. I'm not involved in their careers. I'm in the Dillian Whyte business. So, but yeah, I love both those fights. Dillian to me beats everybody out there. Everybody. You know, he's a serious threat. Serious.